If they do sign Rudy Gay, I know they signed him, but if they keep Rudy Gay, if he makes the team, the Warriors will have 2 of the 6 oldest players in the association this upcoming year. And that's not counting Steph Curry, Steph immediately goes into the top 20. And I'm looking at last year's list. I don't know how many of these guys are going to be back. I know Udonis Haslem at 42 is done. Iguodala at 39 is reportedly done. LeBron James will be the oldest player in the association this year, followed by Taj Gibson, Chris Paul, and then Rudy Gay is right in that next group.
There you go.
So get older. Let's get older, Steve.
I just I'm trying to say this without pointing directly at any individual because, yes, they all largely played good basketball last year. I sat there all year long and tried to make the point that Klay, Steph, and Draymond all looked better individually than they did the year before. So I don't have any concerns that they're going to play good basketball. I do have some concerns about Chris Paul's fit and where he's at age 38. This is more of a collective opinion. I've watched this tried before, and it doesn't work. Showing up to the party with the oldest group is, not the cool thing to do. Now, the thing I was referencing that Tim Kawakami tweeted 6 hours ago was prior to DeAndre Ayton becoming a member of the Portland Trail Blazers. But he threw out there, okay, let's go down that road. Let's say Chris Paul starts and Kevon Looney doesn't. Let's do who's guarding who opening night,
okay.
Phoenix Suns. You figure Andrew Wiggins is going to guard Devin Booker, right? Don't you think?
Who's guarding KD?
Draymond Green.
I put Wiggins on KD, but go ahead.
Okay.
Draymond on KD? Who are you?
Yeah. Who are you going to put on KD?
I put Wiggins on KD.
And who are you putting on Booker?
Booker, you put Klay on Booker. That's what Klay does. Klay locks down guards.
Yeah. Okay.
No, tell me what the matchups are, and I'll tell you how I will cross-match.
He said,
shut Phoenix down.
Wiggins is guarding Booker and Draymond is guarding Durant.
Okay.
God, Durant would cook, he would cook Klay. Anyway, he writes then with question marks. CP3 guards Beal, Curry guards Gordon, and Klay guards Ayton. Now you got to turn Ayton into a new big guy.
Sure.
Whoever the big guy is.
Curry guards Gordon, yes.
Okay.
That's the way you have to do that.
Who's Chris Paul guarding?
KD. Sorry. For the YouTube audience, you could see I could barely contain the smile. I have Wiggins on KD, personally. Okay. I think Wiggins can guard KD. KD's not explosive, go by you kind of a player.
And then you're putting Klay on Booker.
Yes. Booker is the biggest problem. Booker is explosive. You have no answer for Booker, no matter who you have.
You do if you put Wiggins on him.
Okay, and who you put Kevon on? If you want to start Kevon and sit Chris.
Kevon's not in the lineup.
My point is...
Kevon would be on Nurkic. Yusuf Nurkic.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to guard Nurkic. You leave Nurkic alone. No. You leave Nurkic in the corner.
Listen, you got problems. This is not only a Suns thing.
My point is you have problems no matter who you have on the floor against Phoenix.
Incorrect. You
don't have 5 guys to guard Phoenix is the point.
And you could make the case that the Warriors are hard to guard. There are plenty of teams that are hard to guard, but you don't need to make it worse. Putting Chris Paul, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson all on the court at the same time is going to be a problem against a lot of NBA teams. A lot.
You're saying that Klay Thompson's not a good defender, and that's offensive.
Oh, gosh. To borrow a phrase from you all last year.
Talk to me.
Klay Thompson, you told me, was cooked defensively.
No. Never said cooked. He's not the same defender that he was. It's a fact.
He's not. That is correct. And he also is going to have a hard time guarding people bigger than him. Kevin Durant would shoot right over him. That's a bucket. Which is why
I put Wiggins on Durant.
Okay. And then where are you putting Draymond?
You could put Draymond on Nurkic. If you're starting Nurkic instead of Ayton.
All right.
Which is, I guess, where we're going with this. You got Steph on Dragic.
And you're okay with Chris Paul guarding Bradley Beal.
Somebody's going to have to.
Yeah. All right, but George is back. TK is going to join us in 5 minutes.
Is George really back?
Let's find out. It's a tease. Hi, George. Are you back?
Hey, guys. I'm not sure where I left off, but basically I'm just I'm just repeating what you're saying. I just cannot wrap my mind around how having Chris Paul in the starting lineup is going to help the Warriors. I just don't see it. I mean, every year we're either first in the NBA or right around the first or second in assists. So we don't really need another floor general that is 38 years old who can't play defense. But a floor general to run our second unit, that makes a lot of sense to me. If his ego can handle it, what a better guy to run the second unit
and scene. All right, George, at least we got the idea of what you were saying there. Yeah, maybe we can say this in a different way. I'd like to compliment Chris Paul by saying he can't start. You know why? Because they need him in the second unit. They need him in the second unit. What exactly is this second unit that's anchored by Kevon Looney? What is that? What does that look like?
Well, the whole notion of a second unit is a grotesque misnomer when it comes to what an actual second unit is. It's not like you go 5 in and 5 out. So we're not going to Moody and Kuminga.
It's not a line change.
No. So your second unit involves a guy named Steph Curry because he's going to probably play all 12 minutes of the first quarter. So you start Chris Paul and you don't start Kevon, and 4 or 5 minutes in or whenever you feel like you need to make that first sub, you make a sub. And either Chris Paul goes out or Clay goes out. Draymond goes out a lot of times early in that first quarter. And then your second unit becomes a collection of first-teamers and second-teamers all the way through. So I think that we worry too much about starting and then the second unit. There is no second unit.
Yeah, I respectfully disagree. I look at this right now, and it's twofold. There's the basketball side of it, which I think you're putting a lesser unit out on the floor to start the game, simply to placate Chris Paul's ego. And by the way, that leads right into the second point. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You're acquiring a player who deserves the ultimate respect. He's a future Hall of Famer. I get it. Okay, so how far do you go to make that player feel good? Do you go so far as to break up, I'll say it slowly, the most efficient 5-player lineup in the NBA?
I'm wondering where you get that stat.
Because it's a fact.
I'm looking at the NBA advanced stats right now, and I'm sorting it by net rating, and I'm not seeing them as the most efficient 5-man unit.
Monty Pool, NBC Sports Bay Area, less than 25 hours ago.
I wonder where he gets
Golden
this.
State's starting lineup, Curry, Thompson, Wiggins, Draymond, Kevon Looney, posted an NBA best 21.9 net rating. Period.
Gotcha.
End of sentence.
Okay.
Last year. This is number one.
I'm looking at 25 units with a greater net rating. Maybe he's saying among units that played a certain amount of time, I'm seeing...
It's a combo of their 128 rating on offense and their 106.1 rating on defense. Like, this was the most efficient, best starting lineup in the NBA. Second place was Denver. This is all right here.
Okay.
And to break that up, you would only have one good reason to do it. The only reason you would do it is Chris's ego. You coaching. Like,
how many minutes a game did that 5-man unit play? Does Monty have that in there? Because I would guess it's probably around 8 to 10.
I don't know.
Of the 48. I'm just wondering,
that feels low, but anyway, I don't know. No, that's not in here.
I'm just wondering, like, how much of that plays into what we're talking about. And I don't think that let's say Chris Paul starts the first 8 games of the year, and it's pretty clear that through the first 8 games of the year, you're getting off to slow starts and you're not able to defend, and it's not working. Do you think at that point that a change will be made, or do you think that we're just going to defer to Chris Paul the entire year?
Of course a change would be made, but why would you do that? Why can't I ask it the other way? If you've got the most efficient starting lineup in the NBA, there's one question and one question to ask only. Why the hell would you change it? Why? Give me a reason why you would do that without using the words Chris Paul's ego.
Well, it doesn't have to do with his ego. Maybe he plays better as a starter.
Okay.
We've never seen him as a reserve. Maybe Chris Paul, put the ego aside. That's a word that you're attaching to it. I don't think that Chris Paul has ever said, I need to start because of my ego.
I think you coaching has plenty of ego dripping off of it as an initial response to question one. I mean,
and what was question one? Because I was off that week.
The question from Kendra was, what are your thoughts on, I don't have the exact wording, but potentially coming off the bench?
Right.
You coaching? I mean, come on, man.
Great response.
It's dripping with ego.
It's dripping with sarcasm, for sure.
I'm trying to figure out why.